Hi guys, welcome back to my workshop. We've made it through the 2 weeks so far. I've got 2 bowls out of the 52 weeks that I'm planning on working through this this little challenge. So I thought I'd do a little bit of a show and tell. You've seen how they've been made, so seeing as this was to help my skill level a bit and improve on things, it's time for a bit of a critique to see what I could do better, what I think I didn't do very well, what I do like, all those kind of things. So this first bowl is it's I guess a salad bowl out of Jarrah, which over here in Perth is sort of the most common wood that everyone knows about. It's used for, or was, it's not so used now because it's becoming more and more of a rare timber. It's getting a bit scarce out there. It's been overlogged through the years for many reasons, but it's highly prized as furniture timber. It's a great building material. It's strong. When the Europeans first came over here, it was sent back to England and used as road base, basically, as cobblestones, because it just doesn't really mind sitting out in the weather. It's used as telephone poles, jetty posts, but now it's a bit more prized, so you see it more in furniture and decorative stuff. So this piece of Jarrah was salvaged from a local suburb here. A friend of mine has a contact with some arborists, and they were chopping down a big Jarrah tree, and he went in and swooped it up, or some of it up, and my dad was there. I called my dad up because I was at work, and he went and picked it up. So I've got a few chunks of this laying around. It's surprisingly light compared to, I've got some other stuff here. This is some real old stuff. This is actually out of my house, this stuff, so the colour is way darker on the older stuff, old growth Jarrah, compared to this, as well as it probably getting a lot more nutrients in a suburb. So I think as a first bowl, this one wasn't too technically draining, and like I said in my intro, I've been a bit sort of, how's it going with the wall thickness? So the first thing I'd say is it's an even wall thickness throughout the bowl, which is great, but I think it's probably a little bit too thick. It feels good in the hand, and I haven't picked it up for a bit since it's been done, so I'm feeling a bit more, I'm feeling happier with it. But still, I think if I just took 3-5 mil off the inside just to lighten it up a bit, I think I'd be happier with it. In terms of the internal curve, it's smooth, so I'm really happy about that. You know, sometimes you do a bowl and you get a transition where you haven't quite either sanded out that ridge, or you've done a drastic change in your I guess your pass through. So technically, I think I've done quite well. It's simple, it's non-obtrusive, it's not fancy by any stretch of the words, but I think in this case, the timber speaks for itself. It's got this really nice quilt through it. You probably can't see it on the video, but I'll try and get some more footage of it. But it just, one side's a bit dull, but the other side's just got this, it plays in the light so beautifully. So, you know, I'm really happy with this one. It's just a bog standard bowl, which is probably a good idea for the first video. Get things running to a good start, no problems here. So this one, quite happy with. I mean, anyone would be happy with this sitting on their counter with a couple of apples in it, or as a little salad bowl. So I think, yeah, I'm quite happy with this one. So we'll give a big tick to that, and we'll put it down and move on from there. So this fella, so this one's out of Blackbutt. I don't know if it's West Coast Blackbutt, so here from Perth, or if it's more of there's an East Coast variety as well, which are two different eucalypt species. I would say it's the West Coast Eucalyptus patens, just because I've got it from someone here, but you never really know. This piece of wood, I was just sort of browsing Facebook Marketplace, and there was someone selling slabs and chunks of wood, and I wasn't in the market for anything, but there was in one of his photos a picture of a couple of logs that he was selling. I think he said that people bought them to make coffee table bases out of, and so I sent him a message, said, hey, how much do you want for it? It was it just caught my eye because in the bark, in the grain structure, you could see on the outside, it was this really heavily bird's-eyed log, and I've got some more of it floating around, so I'll take a photo and I'll add it in. So I was really excited and managed to sort of haggle him down a bit. He wanted a bit too much for this log that had big cracks through it, so that's what this is from. Unfortunately, what was really exciting on the outside of this log has not really come through. It's a pretty plain Jane piece of wood, and like I said, it was pretty cracked. So there's a few, it's pretty split on the corners along the grain there. But it doesn't detract from this piece. There's a lot of things I think wrong with this. I was probably improvising a little bit too much on the spot, a bit sort of free form. The curve, the continuation of the curve on the inside is, like the last one, really good. There's no abrupt difference in the bottom. It's a smooth curve, which is really nice. I think it's probably a bit thick at the base. It's quite heavy for what it is. I was trying to get more of an elegant display bowl or platter out of this one. But like I said, it's probably a little bit too thick on the bottom. When you pick it up, it's got some weight to it. And the foot that I've put on it, I don't know what I could have done differently. I'll sit down and have a think. Maybe just continuing it through instead of putting this detail on the bottom. I feel like it just doesn't. It gets lost in there, and it doesn't fit. And I've been looking at this for a couple of days now, and I'm sure I'll get it eventually when I'm not overthinking things, but there's just something about it that doesn't quite work for me. I'm sure there's people out there that look at it and go, this is incredible. But personally, maybe if I just continued it on instead of having that detail, maybe just continued on a bit like this bowl where there's the swoop into the foot. Maybe I could have done that. Still had that small diameter, because I wanted to lift it up and have it sort of floating almost off of the base. So I don't know, maybe if it was bigger or maybe smaller, same detail could have worked. Like I said, I'll have a think about it. As a general, I've never done a shape like this before. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not writing home about this one. It's been bugging me every time I walk past it in the house and see it. But that's not to say that other people might look at it and go, that's shit hot. So I think I can work on this a different way. I might try and do another version of this later on in the year, to see if what I do, I'll think about this, what could I do better? Obviously, I'll get that wall thickness down at the bottom, take some weight out of it. I think the curves are okay. It's a bit flat at the bottom here where it comes back around. But it's not bad. And especially week 2, where I'm trying to challenge myself to do different things, try different things, push myself. This isn't going to be a series of me just making the same bowl over and over again. This isn't going to be a series of me making things that I know that I can make and make well. This is a series of me pushing myself to do better, to improve, to challenge my own creativity and technical skills. So I think this is a good step in that direction. And it's a good baseline of I'm not quite happy with this, let's figure out where to go from now on. So that one's done. We'll get the next one going, and I'll probably do this every fortnight, just so I think doing one bowl per video, another, one at a time, might just fill up the feed a bit too much, and will be a bit easier on me just to do 2 bowls at a time. So that's the 2 bowls for this fortnight. It's the start to this challenge, this video feed. I've hoped you are enjoying it. If you're watching, I hope you're going to stick around with me on this. And if you like something, flick us a message. Everything is for sale. If you want it, we can work out a price. I can ship it to you wherever you live. Because at the end of it, I don't want 52 bowls. And my wife certainly doesn't want 52 bowls in the house. So we'll put those down there, and I'll catch you on the next one. See you later.